and welcome to Sport Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe in Lagos. Okay, I'm Austinless at the moment. This is what the show looks like tonight. We'll be talking about basketball. Yes, Basketball African League Season 5 is on, and Rivers Hoopers, representative of Nigeria, they're currently in Lagos, putting final touches, fine-tuning their preparations for the big one starting this weekend. So Rivers Hoopers will be leaving Lagos tomorrow for Morocco, where they will be starting the group game. Yes, Saudi Malian will be the team, the first team they'll be facing on Saturday. That is definitely going to get our attention on the show tonight. And of course, NWFL match day 10 is getting closer to those teams that are fighting for the Super 6 slot. Edo Queens still unbeaten, Rivers Angels still unbeaten, Bayelsa Queens still unbeaten. So these three teams are more like favorites to actually pick a ticket as it stands now. We'll dwell on that on the games that will be played across the country on Wednesday. And of course, the games currently going on. Austin, when he joins me, will be giving us updates on the games going on. Yes, Manchester United are a goal down against Nottingham Forest. Okay, yeah, Antonio Langa giving them that 5 minutes lead for Nottingham Forest. Of course, Arsenal also a goal up. Mikel Merino has scored the goal for them. You also have other games currently going on. We'll be talking about that on the show tonight. And of course, the games that will be played on Wednesday. And of course, a big blow for Manchester City. Haaland, he will be out for the rest of the season, but he will be ready for the FIFA Club World Cup, the money-making FIFA Club World Cup that will be in June. These and many more is getting our attention tonight on the show. And of course, Austin, you ready to join me now?
What a greetings to you, Cecilia, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Action-packed to all the sports. Yes, we're happy the Premier League is back. Right here in England, Arsenal is getting the job done at the moment. You mentioned, yes, Mikel Merino with the lone goal for the Gunners. Let's see what they can do. They're taking on Fulham at the Emirates Stadium. A good one for Nottingham Forest, that's Ola Aina, and of course, Taiwo Awoniyi. They're getting the job done against Manchester United. That game it's half-time now. Elanga, in the 5th minute, did the work for Nottingham Forest. Can they hold on to that lead? You said it. I will be giving us updates on the show tonight. Of course, everything going down in our world of sports, Cecilia.
Yes.
If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go.
I'm ready to go. Of course, Babajide Oreva is right here in Lagos today. And of course, he is ready to roll with us.
Yes, I'm ready. And I hope the scoreline in England will remain the same even at the end of halftime.
Okay. But, which game are you talking about? Which of the games?
That of Arsenal, but I'm not surprised Man U are down now. You know how they've been struggling. But however, let's begin the show.
All right, Man U are really down. I mean, when you look at Nottingham Forest 3rd, Man United 10th. That's 10th place. That's Manchester United we are talking about. All right, let's start off with basketball, of course. The Rivers Hoopers, they're in Lagos. They arrived in Lagos on Sunday, just playing pickup games to be ready. You know our league, the way it works. They come together, they just play a game, you have champions, and then they sit back and relax and get ready for the BAL, which is really not doing them so much justice. But hey, the teams don't have a choice. Look for players. They brought in 5 new players to the team. The ones who were there before, the likes of Amaya and the likes, they re-signed them again for season 5. But Rivers Hoopers in Lagos doing a whole lot to ensure that, yes, they will be ready for the BAL season 5.
For me, I feel they are worthy ambassadors for Nigeria. I only hope they will now go a step further. Last season, they were 3rd, but this time around, just go a step further, meaning you get to the final. And going to the final means you can actually win the title. I also like the fact that Coach Ogo has now brought professionals to come and do the job. They've brought in experience. Mr. Mayo is back, Meka is back, and of course this guy from the United States, Raphael Putney. This guy, I hope they can now do it for Nigeria. You can actually win the title in Morocco. Just go there, bring it back home.
Okay. Austin, I know this is a tall order for them, a tall one for them, really, because Rivers Hoopers, the teams they will be facing, we've seen how, we're not trying to compare here, but we've seen how other leagues they run across Africa. We've seen Nigerian players also going to Sudan and some other country, Niger Republic, Benin Republic, playing basketball because they have a regular league where you play close to 60 games or 30 games in a season. But you don't see that with Rivers Hoopers. And Babajide just said something about they can actually go a step further to win the title. We all know that once you're successful, people want you to build on that success. You can't go down. If you go down, it's as if it's a failure. But the Rivers Hoopers that we've seen, knowing the kind of leagues that we run right here in Nigeria, there's not much competition for them. And they're going to face teams who, have the best of it all.
You said it all, Cecilia, and I cannot blame Babajide Oreva for his optimism. We call it the Niger spirit. And yes, to whom much is given, much is expected. But is that a case of Rivers Hoopers? Yes, they went to the last one. They did so well. But it's just a level talent can take you up to, You need to show workings. You just talked about the league. That's the structure. That's the system. And it's missing in Nigeria. Each time I listen to Coach Agagu talk, I just like, this guy is trying. They're doing everything they can to push. But, it is what it is. Look at, just with watching what I'm saying, where they are even having this practice session is faulty. Just look at that area where they're having, you could tell that the infrastructure is a big problem. I can see things already falling apart. But these guys, they have talent to play basketball. And they just want to play basketball. And that's what they did at the BAL last year. And that's what they'll be hoping to do again this year. But who can blame them? I told you guys, and you guys think I don't know what I'm talking about. 4 years ago, I think it was when the former minister of sports, Sunday Dare, stopped the Tigress to go to the World Cup. I said it that I have done this with basketball in Nigeria. And people don't understand what I'm saying because I see that the problem, it's right there with its leadership. Yes, we can come every now and then and talk about club basketball doing so well. But the other day, we talked about what NBA Africa is doing, what AFD is coming to do for Nigeria. And I asked NBBF, what are you doing? Because that's the owner of basketball in Nigeria. And when we don't hear from them, when they don't see the need to actually put into structures, into systems, into long-term planning and developing the sport, Cecilia, you and I will come here and have a proper Nigeria as a Babajide Oreva that will just hope that each time we have an opportunity to hoist the Nigerian flag at an international event, that they will do well. But hey, faith without work is dead.
Yeah, I mean, you've summed it up because it's easier to talk and say, we finished third the last time, and what have we improved on that? You just look at the club, Rivers Hoopers, yes, we've had only 2 teams that have gone to BAL, Quoro Falcons and Rivers Hoopers, Rivers Hoopers finishing third the last time. And then you talk about the best Nigerian team ever. You ask the best Nigerian team ever, we just had 2. And it tells you what, if you do not have a competitive league, how does that make you to compete outside? That's what I'm really, I share your optimism. I understand what you guys are trying to say. But I don't share that because when you look at the works, it's really not there. When you don't play competitive games, big-time friendlies, have a competitive leagues. You have teams that, just look at how they strolled in to win the league. It was Hoops and Reeds, right? That's the final game that they played. They end up, winning the 6-time champion, when they beat Hoops and Reeds, then they won the title. So you just look at that. You don't have that competitive edge. I know before you to have Lagos Islanders, the Canopilas of this world and everything, it was competitive. But now you just have Rivers Hoopers or Quoro Falcons, then you have Hoops and Reeds and some other teams coming up together. You don't play that extensive league where you have up to 30 games or 40 games or even 20. We don't see that at all. So that's why I'm not confident that we can actually, go there and even dream of winning the title. Yes, the last time, it was okay, but you have to build on that. They've tried. You mentioned they have 5 players. You have Kevin Amayo that you mentioned. You have Peter Lisemaka also. You have DR Congo's point guard, Mazi Asham, South Sudan small forward, Madut Eke, and the American guy you mentioned, Putney. These are the 5 players they've added to beef up the team. But when you haven't seen this team really competing at the highest level, the first competitive games they're going to play together will be against Stade Malien, which is on Saturday.
Okay, so I share your sentiment and I understand, but this is Nigeria, and if you wait for all these things to be put in place, then you will go nowhere. Okay. They've done everything possible to be at this level, at this stage. And I know that going into this tournament now. It will be their 4th time, and means out of 5 editions, they are coming in with a whole lot of experience. I understand the whole Niger factor.
Yeah.
I understand no stadium, no facility, no nothing, funds, but you need to give it to the guys. You need to give it to the management. You need to give it to the players as well. It takes a lot to actually want to fly the country's flag. It takes a lot to want to do this for yourself and all that. I only hope, of course, you're 3rd last season, then you just want to go for that.
Yeah.
I hope they can do this and then incur shame whatsoever and then bring the title and let's rejoice.
I share that. Right, let's listen to the coach and some of the players, how prepared they are for BAL Season 5.
Training has gone well so far. We've been working very hard the past 2 weeks, and we've made tremendous progress. Okay, we're quite a different team. We have a new point guard. Of course, it's no longer news that Will Perry has signed for a team in Senegal, so we have a new point guard. Unfortunately, he cannot be here with us right now. He has to go sort out his visa issues in Congo. We also have Raphael Putney. We can see him. He's almost 7 foot, and he shoots the lights out every cut. It was something that we had last season in the make of John Wilkin, but of course it's different this time around because this guy he can shoot, he can go in, he can put the ball on the floor, so it's entirely different. We also have Madut Akek, the South Sudanese, who steps in for Divine AK, who also not with us. He is also, I think, an upgrade on what we have right now. So for us, I think the team is good to go. We still have a couple more days before John Ball. John Ball is on Saturday, so we have a couple more days of putting work. We fly out to Morocco on Wednesday, so we're going to have the opportunity to practice Wednesday evening, Thursday, maybe twice, Friday twice before John Ball. Pre-tournament is just like an examination. You want to do better than the previous year that you did. We came 3rd last year, but we don't want to jump far ahead. Our goal right now is to qualify from Morocco to the finals in South Africa, and then afterwards we can start saying what it is that we want. So, but right now we're not thinking so far ahead. We're thinking about the finals qualification. We want to be one of the 2 teams that qualify for South Africa at the end of this tournament. And then, of course, everybody knows our name in Africa now, the Rivers Hoopers. So it's going to be twice as difficult as it was last season because nobody's going to underrate Nigeria anymore. They know what we can do. So we drew a huge target on our back, and people are aiming for us now. So it makes it a lot more difficult. But so it is nothing serious. It's something that we're going to overcome. We're just going to play normal basketball and hopefully at the end of the day qualify.
First and foremost, I wanted to make playoffs first, and then when we make playoffs, I think anything can happen. This is our first goal: just take one game at a time, build our chemistry, get tighter group together as a family, and then we move to playoffs. I don't feel any pressure, man. I come here, man, just to play my game and who I am, to do that, just do the things I need to help win basketball games for a team. So for me, there's no pressure, man. I'm blessed. I'm grateful for the opportunity to come here, and hopefully I can build a legacy myself as far as getting far into the ball this year.
Let me say we are ready. We're getting ready because we have been training for like few weeks now. We've been in camp, training morning, evening, running, everything. So, and the players that came in, they are really supporting, like motivating us, and playing as a team. Yeah, there's no pressure. We're just going there to play basketball and play hard, then come home with the championship. That's
it. Austin, listening to Abel, he said it all. This is something they want to do. This is where they want to be. They're not under pressure. What they want to do, go there, have a step further, try and bring the championship home. I love that.
I like it, Cecilia. That's good positivity right there. But we all know, and I've said it over and over again, that talent isn't enough. But this is the sort of mood you expect from the players as they get ready to go for a tournament such as the BAL. And Coach Adaudu, summed it up so well. He said they've announced themselves. People now know about Rivers Hoopers. In Africa now, we can stand up and say, yes, Rivers Hoopers can go, and challenge anything. But as you said, when they now say, okay, we agree that you can play basketball the way we do, but what do you have back home? What are your structures? What's your system? What style are you bringing? Yes, I like the fact that they're doing so well with scouting players and bringing players who can actually, fill in those gaps in the team and, get the results. But Cecilia, it should amount to something. Rivers Hoopers did so well at the last BAL. What level of development has it brought to Rivers State? You get what I'm saying? What has it done in terms of talent discovery, development? that's what defines progress. It's a gradual movement towards advancement. I was not saying it, but all the best to Rivers Hoopers as they get ready for the BAL. Go make the country proud.
Yeah, go make them proud. And that's why we're happy for things like the NBA Africa is actually doing and NBA Nigeria doing, having this elite camp and everything. They're literally the ones producing the grassroots for Nigeria because the league right now is inactive. So you now have organizations like that actually doing that. I hope we can actually have they have Gbemisola Abudu, to throw more lights on things that they're actually doing to unearth talent for the nation, which is really key. If you don't build a structure back home here, what do you have? You just take 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 players, international players, you go there, you play BAL, and you're back. Right home here. Well, we won't do so much of basketball. We just rested there. Some other day, we'll talk about grassroots basketball in Nigeria. Rested there, and we were wishing the Basketball Africa Rivers Hoopers, all the best at the good to BAL.
It's okay, Cecilia, if you want to wish Basketball Africa all the best. I mean, they've done just enough to get your commendation. But I love the Hard Time to Play initiative. Yeah. It's beautiful. It's laudable. Yeah. You can tell that they're doing something that is leading towards something that will get us talking. Not just tomorrow, in 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years' time. And that's the development we're talking about. So hopefully someday we'll get to have the Vice President of Basketball Africa come around and talk about this program, this initiative. Particularly, Cecilia, when you respect inclusion, find a way to put girls into the conversation, and put proper inspiration through basketball that will lead into active development. I love it. So yes, Cecilia, let me help you and say shout out to NBA Africa for everything they're doing for the development of the sports in Nigeria.
Yeah, shout out to them. They're doing a lot for that. We can take a cue from there and build on what they've started. And the big question we usually ask, these girls, these boys, where do they go after this camp? Most of them, their aim is to go to Senegal for the NBA Academy because you don't have anything here back home. All right, we'll rest this there, right? We'll rest it, yeah. I mean, he's tired. We'll rest it here. Now, let's quickly talk about we wanted to take a look at the fixtures, of course, the teams, where the Rivers Hoopers are. They are in a Kalahari conference in Rabat, Morocco, the one from 5th to 13th. That's where they will be playing. Of course, that's the time for their play. There's FUS Rabat in that team, Stade Malien in that team of Mali, and Al-Ittihad of Egypt also in that team. Sahara Conference, where you have defending champions. Well, I'm happy that we are not in that one. Petro de Luanda of Angola, in that one. Of course, you also have 2022 champions. I think that's Sahara Conference. That's where you have almost all the big teams. Defending champions, 2022 champions, US Monastir from Tunisia, and of course the host, Villa de Dakar, and of course Cape Verde, Creole Star. These are the teams in Sahara Conference. And of course, you go to the Nile Conference where you have the host, of course, APRO, Nairobi City, Thunder of Kenya. You have South Africa's NBB and Libya's Al Ahly of Tripoli. Of course, the 3 of them, the last 3 actually making their debut in BAL. So the final usually is Kigali, but this year it's not going to be in Rwanda and Kigali. It's going to be in South Africa. Morocco is joining, one of the phases for the first time. Morocco hasn't been a part of it. Egypt has been taken out. So these are the countries that are hosting for this year. Hopefully someday we'll just have Nigeria, hosting one of the phases of the BAL. It's going to happen someday.
Which facility? We
are hopeful. Yeah. Okay. Austin, time to call out Rivers State once again. Rivers Hoopers.
I just did Cecilia. I don't know where Rivers Hoopers were having that
basketball arena.
But I agree with Babajide, and I do it all the time. Barrister Chris Green. Maybe after this show, I'll give him a call again and say, look, Rivers State is just too big to be going through this sort of embarrassment, Just don't build stadiums. Just build sporting arenas, indoor sports halls, Cecilia. Where
basketball arena, it's too much. It's too plenty. Just build a basketball arena, not gymnasium. Just build a basketball arena. It'll be okay.
The sports halls, they're not playing basketball there. They can do badminton, they can do handball, they can do volleyball, table tennis. And just empower young people in your state. Rivers State has got the resources. Let's do something. See what NBA Africa is doing. They are showing workings, and we can see it, and everyone likes it. And Cecilia, even when she doesn't want to say well done, the thing is coming out. Say just commend them for the good work that they're doing, because we can see it. So yes, it will take a while before we see Nigeria hosting any of the BAL phases, Cecilia, because infrastructure is a big requirement. Look at what Rwanda has done. They've turned around sports, and they started with infrastructure, and then they found a way to put sports tourism into it, and now everybody wants to go to Rwanda. Don't even go to North Africa. If you call on any of those countries,
inside the Niger Delta is coming up.
They can easily just jump up.
All right. Our Sports Tonight will continue. So let's take a look at NWFL match day 10. Right, there are so many teams, about 3 teams still unbeaten, right? We have some teams already, thinking of preparing their season. They're preparing for championship next season. Now let's start off with Group A, where you have Ekiti Queens up against Remo Stars. This will be an early game. I think the time is about 12 noon. You have Confluence Queens and Danas Ladies will be in action. Edo Queens will host Haaland Queens. They will be back at home to play in a lush stadium, because the coach was complaining about the stadium in Abia the other time. Nasarawa Missions are hosting Abia Angels. They will also get to play in a fine stadium because they're home. Well, that's not a pitch. Group B, still on match day 10 fixtures. Rivers Angels unbeaten, hosting Nigeria Hotels, who are shooting to see if they can get into that top 3 and qualify for Super 6, because they're 3rd on the table. Bayelsa Queens also unbeaten, hosting Ibom Angels. Benue Queens winless and conceding all the goals. Remember, they came to Lagos and FC Robo beat them 8-1, right? 8-0. They're hosting Delta Queens. Of course, this game is also early kickoff at about 2 p.m. Adamawa Queens and FC Robo will conclude the games for match day 10. So, Austin, which one is getting your attention here? I think Rivers. I do.
Yeah, you can easily say Rivers Angels, because you just want to see if they can, pump up their momentum with a win against Niger Hotels, and easy peasy, you want to just give it to them. But you see, the league has gotten to a stage now where you can't just only look at Rivers Angels. If Rivers Angels is winning, then Bayelsa Queens should also be winning. Edo Queens should be winning. FC Robo Queens should be winning, unless when they go against themselves. Why? Because now we've started the journey towards the Super 6. So every game is important now, particularly if it's got those teams that have prospects of getting to the next round, Cecilia.
Prospects. Talking about prospects, I mean, when when Remo, at the time, when they had all it, Remo Stars Ladies, they had it all within themselves, but somehow they drop a point. Nasarawa Missions ensure that to end the first stanza. Second stanza, the bounce back, beating Confluence Ladies. And now, of course, they're second behind Edo Queens, leading that pack. And take a look at Edo Queens, what they did the last time, convincingly, going away from home to Abia, beating Abia by 2-1. By virtue of that, they are topping that table. Look at these teams. I mean, these particular games, Ekiti Queens and Remo Stars Ladies. This might just be another tough one, maybe a way for Remo to maybe drop a point. This is the pitch I was talking about, that the coach was actually complaining that they shouldn't be playing football here. But hey, they played here, they won away from home, but they will be going home and they'll be hosting Haaland Queens for tomorrow.
I mean, look at this pitch, and you just feel concerned. This is a national. I don't want to use the word that comes to me. Like, we need to do better. We can do better. Like Austin said, one that they've left us behind. Why can't we have a good facility for our sporting for our sports? But anyway, I hope the girls. I know the league now, it's in a very complex stage where every point you drop might affect the chances of getting into the Super 6. And I'm concerned about Haaland Queens. I expect them to do better, but I don't see them defeating Edo Queens tomorrow. I just hope all the girls will I wish them well tomorrow.
All of them, because if you look at the table, Edo Queens are topping 23 points after 9 games, for Haaland They are 6th on the log, 9 games on 8 points. So it shows how bad they are. Look at the goal difference. They're even owing -4, so which is not too good for them. And Edo Queens has +15. And you look at that table, it shows the gap between these two teams. But hey, things do happen, because sometimes when you're thinking you're going to win at home, something might just happen. But from all indication, I don't know which of these teams will be winning away from home. Austin, if you look at all the teams we've talked about, it's hard to just look at the ones that will win away from home. Maybe Remo Stars ladies, after dropping, after losing to Nasra, maybe they'll just go and beat Ekiti Queens. That could happen.
Yeah,
maybe
Ibom Angels too. I'm going away to Bayelsa Queens. That will definitely get us talking if Ibom Angels can get something about. But FC Robo Queens can fancy, their chance at Adamawa Queens. That's something that they can do. I says that is going to be difficult unless Dana's ladies want to give us something to talk about. Still, I remember, I think the first 2 weeks of the league, Dana's ladies really got us talking. Yeah. So let's see what they can do. Remo Stars ladies, nobody can take it away from them that they have been playing as a team. Fantastic team. They score good goals. They've got good cohesion. They're coordinated. So that's a team that can actually upset Ekiti Queens, But yeah, last match day, all of the big teams that needed to pick wins away from home did get it. Rivers Angels, Edo Queens, Bayelsa Queens. So this time around, those teams that can actually create upsets are the ones that are going away from home. Let's see what they can do. But let me just add to that pitch in Umuahia. Abia Angels play there. Abia Warriors, that's also their ground. And we have been talking about that pitch. Look at what you're seeing. This is the stadium in Ikene. Compare that stadium with what you're seeing. This is proper secondary school standard, not secondary school in very advanced areas.
My secondary school didn't have this, Austin.
Rural areas, So I really don't know. These are the things. And that's why I say when we call out these people, they don't understand. They just go, Austin will get tired, Cecilia will talk down, and then they will move on with life later. No, we'll keep talking about it till you do the right things, because now we have a duty to promote the league, to let people see it, to put it out there. And this is the stage where we're putting. Look at the goalkeeper area. Look, he's already bald. Just look at the pitch. It doesn't look good for football development.
If you fall here, the injury will not be pretty. Any little slip up, the injury.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
This is the women's game we're talking about. Women are beautiful people, and they are soft. They're delicate. Now they've come out to play football. The least you want to do is give them somewhere comfortable to play football, to express themselves, to be able to, show their God-given talent. And that will now, because they are promoting the beautiful game, it will now attract sponsors to come into it, Cecilia. And I feel like just giving women a hug, say sorry that they are treating you that way.
Yeah, winning that hug really is needed. I remember when I watched Arsenal and Real Madrid, when Real Madrid took Arsenal ladies to that stadium, that it rained and then the pitch was dividing. It was really funny. I mean, it was so obvious. And then the criticism that followed, I know Real Madrid will never, ever try that again. But we hope Nigeria can also take a cue from that. We can't copy things that are bad. Now, something actually coming up from NWFL is the fact that this is what, there's a women's group that I belong to. We're talking about the way they schedule games. Now, this is happening again. Just this is about 20 minutes ago, they posted on their Twitter handle, on the X handle, that the clash between Confluence Queens and Dana's ladies, earlier scheduled to be at 4 p.m., is now 8 a.m. Simply because that same stadium in Ayimba Stadium will be hosting 3 Federation Cup games on that day. That's the President's Cup on that day. That same stadium is hosting 3 President's Federation Cup on that day.
So the ladies must wake up very early and
early in the morning, 8 a.m. I mean, who does that? You play the game at 8 a.m. If they know that you're going to be, because the fixtures of Federation Cup came out on Monday, right? We saw that. Yeah. And when the producer was, putting out all these games at the time they were creating the graphics, it was still 4 p.m. No, but now you're putting the game at 4 p.m. You're taking it to 8 a.m. Okay.
And that's a national league for the
yes,
female.
top flight. It's not national, it's the top flight, Premiership.
I just don't know
the Premiership
how
game.
we do things. I just don't know. So you now want the ladies to come 8 a.m. to play a national league game. 8 a.m.
Yeah.
No, it's not done.
8 a.m. Okay, I hope NWFL, I know maybe it's not their fault, but hey, I think you can, if that match was already fixed, the Federation Cup can decide to fix their own time, because that game, the timetable came at the beginning of the season. So you can't shift game for something, for games that are just coming up. That means the Women's League is not valued. So you even have the President Federation Cup, the FA Cup, as it is, more valued than the Women's League. I'm going to rest that there because this is not a topic you want to talk about. Maybe someday, if we can finally have Nkechi be in the studio, we've been trying to get her for a while, then she'll have so many questions, and of course, she may be able to throw more light on some of this. There are times we go to the stadium right here in Lagos, and games that were scheduled for 3 p.m., we discover that they moved it to 1 p.m. And then you go there, you can't cover games. It happened twice. And so you ask questions that this is even better. It wasn't on match day. So sometimes changes on match day. So we hope that they can actually do better with the Women's League and make it really professional, because there's a title added to it, which is a Premiership. It is not a lower division. It is the top flight in Nigerian Women's League. Okay. Let's talk about the Federation Cup now. That's the President's Cup, the games. One of the reasons why a game was moved from 4 p.m. to 8 a.m. All right. We'll just look at some of these fixtures. We'll be focusing on the game, the teams playing in the NPFL. That's the top flight. The teams they are playing against. And this round of 32 will be played, of course, on Wednesday. You have Academy Warriors. They are the defending champions. Remember, they're hosting, they will be up against AIM, but they're not playing in their own stadium. They're playing across different stadiums in the country. Abakaliki and Katsina United are also in action. Nasarawa United and Ijele FC. Bayelsa United and FC Basira. Wiki Tourists and Rovers FC. And Ikorodu City and Crown FC. So these are some of the fixtures for the President's Federation Cup. So let's take a look at other games also that will be in action on Wednesday. Beyond Limit FC are playing against Rivers United, Mighty Jet Feeders and Aqua United, Heartland FC and Rangers International. So this is all MPFL teams. Also, you have Adamawa United and Benin Insurance, Sunshine Stars and Plateau United. Another game that is going to be getting our attention. Kwara United are also up against Gombe United. So many top ones here. Lobby Stars will up against Solution FC. Warriors, of course, have to go through because Shooting Stars disqualification, they defeated an ineligible player. And that's the reason any team facing them will just have a walkover, easily going through to the round of 16. So, Austin, there you have it for the round of 32 fixtures for the President Federation Cup. Some upsets might just happen because that Beyond Limits FC, we know how those smaller teams just somehow show themselves, so to speak, and get the job done.
Set Cup, I see Crown FC, and that fixture against Ikorodu City. So Ikorodu City, they should try not to blink so we don't get to start asking questions. Also, Aqua United, they have a tricky encounter against Mighty Jets FC. This is a club with a lot of history, in Nigeria football. There's Sunshine Stars, Plateau United, one of the MPFL fixture. Kwara United, they cannot afford to blink against Gombe United because Gombe United, they understand, league football also in Nigeria. Last season, Cecilia, it was the teams from the NNL that got us talking, and it will be good for us to, have this sort of, conversation again. So we're looking forward to it. Let's see. El Academy Warriors versus Eimba will definitely also get us talking. Don't forget they're defending champions. They stunned everybody, went on to win it, qualified for continental football, and now they are on the match again. So it's a Federation Cup. It's round of 16, but to definitely produce things that will get us talking, Cecilia.
Upset, happens. Upset always happen. You envisaging anyone?
No, I don't think so. But of course, you still need to focus on that. Eimba, El Kanemi, defending champions, and then Eimba, 4-time champions. So that's going to be explosive. I also hope Ikorodu City will keep with their incredible run in the league will actually also translate this in the President's Cup, and I hope they will also go
Lagos
to the next stage. Yes.
Our Lagos team, I get that. All right, let's go to the Premier League quickly. Austin will give us updates of the games that are currently going on. I know Arsenal had 2 goals up, right? But we'll quickly run through this. Yeah, okay, Austin, yeah.
Let's say that's now 2, Fulham 0. That game, it's now in the 90th minute. Added time remaining to be played is just 2. What a story. Bukayo Saka, Cecilia returned with a bang. He came on, I think, in the 67th minute. 7 minutes later, it was on the score sheets, for the Gunners. They really missed him. Merino scored the first goal.
He's finally back. Okay, let's take a look at the games for Wednesdays. Bournemouth hosting Ipswich Town, Brighton and Aston Villa, Manchester City and Leicester City. They begin without Erling Haaland, who is out for 7 weeks. Newcastle and Brentford. You have Southampton. They'll try as much as possible to not be the worst team ever in the Premier League when they host Crystal Palace. Liverpool are up against Everton. Okay, and of course you have Chelsea and Tottenham. So these are the games for you. This will be for a Thursday. All right, Pep Guardiola has been talking about Erling Haaland and the reason why he's out. I don't know if we had that and just listen to him to see how he can actually, which of these players can actually fit in. Everyone is talking about Marmoush, but we've seen that 2 of them are usually starting games. So what happened in the FA Cup and the weekend when both were actually on the field or played. All right, Erling Haaland is out. That's what the doctor has told him. Okay. Replacement is going to be hard, right?
It's going to be hard. Haaland, Guardiola, I can't imagine how it feels now. You don't want to lose Haaland at this critical time of the league, because now they are really fighting hard to get into pick a continental ticket. But however, I don't see Marmoush fitting into the shoes of Haaland. Haaland is a pure striker. He does nothing else on the pitch, just get the goals, and he has been getting it. But him out for weeks, I hope he can be back before the FIFA Club World Cup. I hope he could. Guardiola also said, okay, it's possible that he gets back maybe with the last few games of the season. I know it will affect the team, but whichever it is, they are not contending for the Premier League title this time. So I hope it will also allow Marmoush to actually step up now and also see if he can actually lead the team. I mean, in terms of goals.
That's if that's going to be happening. Also, when you have a player who score in every game, when you're looking for goals, you know who to go to. But right now, he's not there. And we know City they've struggled to score goals this season, but they know how to concede, and that's why they assist, right? They assist on the league table. When you look at it, they're fighting to finish in top 4. They're still in the FA Cup. That's if they don't finish top 4, that's the ticket they will get to. The tickets they will have to get into the continent next season.
That's right, and they've started paying the price already, because it was in that FA Cup game against Bournemouth that Haaland picked up that injury. But I listened to Pep Guardiola, and he says City is a big team and that other players just need to find a way to start, moving forward. This is the same team that has gone on to win the Premier League without a striker before. So it's all about tactics and strategies. They'll just find a way, to see how they can get other players very effective and do the pressing game to, get the results that they will need without, Haaland being present. Arsenal seem to be doing it at the moment. So football has gone beyond that stage, but we just understand that when you have a striker in that box, particularly one that is as effective as Haaland, then you'll get the job done. But hey, it's not there now. They need to, keep it going. Quick updates just before the game, between Arsenal and Fulham ends. Some way, somehow, Muniz has pulled one back for Fulham. So it's now Arsenal 2, Fulham 1. That game had +7 added minutes to it. I thought it was remaining just 2, but it was now +7. So let's get to see how that one will end. The game between Wolverhampton Wanderers and West Ham, Cecilia, it has finished 1-0 in favor of Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was an early goal also that did a job for Wolves. Manchester United still trailing at the City ground. Nottingham Forest doing everything they can to protect Anthony Elanga's solo goal in the 5th minute. Taiwo Awoniyi and Ola Aina still playing in that fixture. And when you take a look at what's going on right now in the Premier League, Babajide, Nottingham Forest, surprise, surprise, well, it seems they have it going for themselves.
Yeah, so, you know, they were almost there. At some point, they were second on the table. I don't know how, but however, I like the fact that Nigerians are also making their mark. Awoni has been fantastic for the club, even though he has not had the regular season like he would have. But obviously, anytime he comes on, I just hope they can see it to the last and possibly pick that continental ticket. Why not let them go and play in the Champions League?
You know, Austin, each time I look at the table, I see Liverpool, Arsenal, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, Man City. I have to check again. Is that really Nottingham Forest or some other team? Yeah. Yes, it's a shock. You just want to dream. After what happened at the FA Cup at the weekend, I knew that this team, they are not just dreaming. They just want to get something out of the season. Because if they don't get anything, to me, I think it's just be a failure because you don't go this far. You don't play so much. And then when you already have it, you just let it drop.
Yeah, Cecilia, I was at the City ground to see a game. I think it was Nottingham Forest versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. It ended 1-1. But let me tell you, the fans, they love what is happening. And the players, some way, somehow, they've done a great job in sustaining the momentum. You know, so that's what matters. Cecilia, it's not going to be a failure. Imagine Nottingham Forest playing in the UEFA Champions League. That does a lot.
If you check their history, you know they won European Championship before.
Of course, yeah, that's the point.
And they won the FA Cup before. I mean, that was in the 50s or something. I mean, they've been to the final in the 2000s or something. So
that's what puts them back into the conversation because they believe that's where they are. They don't like the tag that people say, oh, they are a small team. You know, so Nuno has found a way now to tell people that, look, we can do something. And if you take a look at the way Nuno plays with his team, and even Bournemouth, they've shown the bigger teams that look, for us, it's a little bit of consistency that we need and we'll keep it going. So shout out to Nottingham Forest. I like the fact that we've got Nigerians in there, you know, adding to the magic that is happening there. It will be so good to see Nottingham Forest play in the UEFA Champions League.
Interesting. And then City are just in danger of missing out. I mean, United, you look at the table, they're still going to stay 13th anyway. I think they have a partnership with that 13th spot. Win or lose, yeah. They have partnership with that 13th spot. No, if they win, I mean, they could climb up to 12. I mean, because they would have played one game more than the team that is above them, which happens to be Crystal Palace. Kind of hard, but we're talking about United.
See, the whole of Manchester United, there needs to be a major overhaul. And since Ronaldo left,
Elanga, who scored the goal, happens to be a former player.
Yeah, I know. So you just don't want to imagine Manchester United. I looked at the table again. I had to scroll down to see the Manchester United's position, and you just know there's something not right about the club. It might not be coaching, might not be the players, but I think a deep down. It could be from the management. I just feel there's something, a major shake-up needs to happen. Since you remember when Cristiano Ronaldo was leaving and he mentioned a lot, he exposed a lot. There were lots of things. And for a whole Manchester, this is the great Manchester United. And then you can now be seeing the Nottingham Forest almost getting into the Champions League. Then it's like Man U, they are struggling to fight relegation. It's appalling, and they're already losing tonight. I'm not surprised anyway. I'm not surprised, but I just hope sooner or later Manchester United will get back to its greatness.
Sooner or later, getting back to that greatness. Austin, we have to go, but United are still a goal down to Nottingham Forest. I know you'll be rooting for Nottingham Forest. I know the reason why.
I don't know, but I'm just here to report it. 84th minute now, and it's still Nottingham Forest 1, Manchester United 0. Arsenal has gone on to win that one against Fulham. It ended 2-1. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Bajide, it was nice doing this with you again.
Thank you. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Morgbe. Have a good night rest.